In tonight's Rant and Rave, it's all about football, both college and NFL.
Here's Fox Sports 1670's Bill Shanks and our own Tucker Sargent to duke it out.
Rant and Rave, and we start with a big issue in Atlanta. Dan Radakovich, the AD at Georgia Tech, has left for Clemson. What does this mean for Paul Johnson, the head coach of the football team? And, of course, they're reeling after a big loss the other day to BYU. Tucker, I think he's in trouble. Now, not for this year. They'll finish out this year. He'll get a new defensive coordinator. But next year, when the new guy comes on board, Paul Johnson better win or he may be gone, too.
I think the pressure's on Paul Johnson right now. In Georgia, they're up in the BCS. They're competing, big in-state rival. And Georgia Tech, meanwhile, you said they lost to BYU, and earlier this year they lost to Middle Tennessee also, and they were both big-time losses at home. I think if you lose games like that, you're on the hot seat, and I think Paul Johnson might be out this year.
All right, issue 2, Georgia and Ole Miss. Well, the Bulldogs are coming off a great win in Jacksonville. They usually do go down there and beat those Gators, right? And now they have to turn around and play a big game against Ole Miss, a very improved team. Georgia better not take Ole Miss for granted because they are improved. They beat Auburn. They beat Arkansas. They could beat Georgia, but the Bulldogs, I think they're on a roll. I think they'll take care of business because they do not want anything to get in the way of going to Atlanta.
Sure, and Ole Miss, yeah, they are improved, but Georgia, as you said, they're climbing the polls, climbing up the BCS rankings. They do have that one loss still, but if they win out, they control their own destiny, and I think despite Ole Miss coming in and playing their best game, Georgia should take care of business and beat them.
Another big game on Saturday will be Saturday night when Alabama and LSU play. This is not getting the big-time publicity that it got last year, but it's still a big game. And Alabama just seems to be on a whole nother level when it comes to college football teams. I mean, they're great, and everybody else seems to be very good. I thought, Tucker, coming into the year, LSU was the better team because of Zach Mettenberger, the former Georgia quarterback, now at LSU. But he struggled, and that means, you know what, that Alabama defense will eat him alive.
They are going to eat him alive. And coming into this season, you weren't the only one. A lot of people had LSU picked to win it all this year, and Alabama expected to have a down year. Well, you know what, my stepdad, he's a big Alabama fan. You know how obnoxious Alabama fans are. In the offseason, he told me, Alabama is going to be better this year than they were this past year. And me and my twin brother both laughed him off, said, you're crazy, you don't know what you're talking about, but look at them. Nobody's going to beat them, and you're right, they're going to plow through LSU as well.
All right, finally, NFL on Sunday here on 41 NBC, the Cowboys and the Falcons. The Falcons are undefeated at 7-0. I think they'll remain undefeated. They're going to lose at some point, Tucker. They're not a perfect team. I don't want them to be a perfect team. I want them to win in January. But the Dallas Cowboys are not going to be the team to fix that record for the Falcons because they're in a mess with old Tony Romo.
Old Tony Romo. Is he ever going to pan out to what everybody talks him up to be, Bill? Yeah, they're struggling. The Falcons, I did pick against them this past week. They went up and took care of business against the Eagles. You know, they are going to beat the Cowboys. They probably will lose later on, but the Cowboys ain't going to be the team to beat them.
All right, we'll see you on Friday night for high school football action where the End Zone brought to you by Safe Auto. We'll see you then.